Oh, it's 5 o'clock. Would you like to stand and pledge allegiance? Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Welcome back, June.
I don't think so.
You look taller.
I hope I got taller.
Today is December 6, 2010. The time is 5 p.m. and the regular meeting of the Greensburg Board of Works is called to order. Roll call vote, please. Devin?
Here. Daryl?
Present.
Steve? Here. Linda? Rodney?
Here.
Mayor?
Here. As the board looked at the minutes, and I'm sure you have, are there any corrections or additions to them for the regular meeting November 1st and special meetings November 17th and 29th?
Make the motion to approve as written.
More discussion? Hearing none, roll call vote, please, Devin, on the minutes.
Daryl?
I guess I'll abstain since I wasn't at the last meeting. Give you a 2/3 yes.
Rodney?
Yes.
Linda? Yes. Mayor?
Yes.
Steve?
Oh, Steve. Sorry.
Is Carrie Riley here? She's not here, is she? Gary, do you know exactly what she was going to address us on that?
I think she was just going to address if they were going to transfer the funds for the $500,000 now that we had the match from Alma Taylor Foundation on hand.
Good. If she does come here, when she makes it, we may back up this, but I didn't. She notified us that she wouldn't be here, so maybe she's running late. Donna Lecker called in this morning. She's absent with the flu. And what we'd like to address on that is an employee waiver, the 3-month notice of resignation. And if you read the information that Donna sent you, there's good reason that he couldn't. And it's not only 60 hours vacation, it also consists of the 228 hours that have been accumulated for sick leave. And the vacation time, that's a given, but on our policy, and I really don't know why it's like that. Do you know, Devin, if someone passes away like that, it should kind of be a no-brainer.
Policy doesn't address deceased. It's just on sick time. If someone goes to resign or retire, they can be paid out on giving 3 months' notice.
So do you think we should change the policy or not?
That's up to the council. I think this is the second time that we've had to deal with. I'm not sure it was in our old policy what we did last time.
We may want to bring it up to amend the ordinance. So I think what we need is a motion to, how do we want to word that?
The vacation will be paid out
Yes, no matter what. But
the sick time. There has to be a special exception, or an exception made to pay that out.
he did not say. I think it's just common sense to award the 228
I make a
hours.
motion that this policy be waived to everything that the amount of money that is due for
The deceased.
Clark.
Any more discussion? Hearing none, none, roll call vote, please, Debbie.
Steve,
Yes.
Linda. Yes. Rodney,
Yes.
Daryl,
Yes.
Gary.
Yes. Board. Mr. Jeff Smith, this is something that Jeff's taking to the council tonight. Was 2010-16, but because it being sewer and under the Board of Works, I just want him to explain to us what was going on with the council tonight.
You should have received a copy of the proposed ordinance. We're amending the ordinance that was passed in 1995. Basically, the reason we need to amend it is the EPA has changed some of their regulations. They sent the regulations changes to IDEM. IDEM sent them to us because we administer our own pre-treatment here in the city for industry. We made the changes to our ordinance, sent the draft back to IDEM and back to Region 5. They have reviewed those changes and accepted those changes. So now I need to have the ordinance passed so we can implement those changes to our ordinance. Basically, we added a best management practice for industry. What that amounts to is they'll have in their pre-treatment programs for industry basically how to operate those pre-treatment facilities, and we can go in and see that they're following their practices. We already do monitoring of all the industry in town, do sampling monthly on. Some of the other things were just wordsmith things on who could sign documents from the industry, send their monthly reports in. The other one was the addition of slug loading. Basically, a slug load is can be anything that comes to the waste treatment plant in very high concentrations that either will cause a pass-through, in other words, will be removed at the waste treatment plant, or cause an upset at the treatment plant. It can be anything from metals to organic matter, different things like that. And if we see an industry has a tendency to give us slug loads, we now have the authority to go in and say, okay, you have a 24-hour limit, but you can discharge over 24 hours, but I don't want that all in 15 minutes, because that's what the slug load happens. If it's done something, and you cause so much set. Basically, that's the only thing we've changed. Everything else pretty much stays the same. Any questions?
Jeff, before you leave, got a question for you. Jeff, I have a question. Contractor the other day approached us in regards to the city repairing their street cuts the same as we require the contractors to do. And I can understand their concern. It is the city streets, which is operated and maintained by the Board of Works, basically. Where do you stand at on this?
I'd have to do some cost estimations. I mean, for the sewer plant, depending on how long the dig's going to be on a sewer, coal goes a little bit more expensive than gravel. That'd be the only thing.
Well, you know, we've made this street cut ordinance into law to keep the streets in good order after they're repaired, after they're cut and repaired. You know, sometimes you can put too much fill in or not enough, and you either end up with a hump in the road or a hole in the road. And I know it puts more burden on the utilities, but I really believe that, you know, we need to set an example. If we set ordinances, we need to go by them by ourselves as well as we force everyone else to by ordinance.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that ordinance exempted the utilities.
and I don't know if it should.